Red's good.
Okay, I'll get us started. Welcome to the 6th and final episode of Figs.
Potentially, we'll see. I like doing it, but we need more listenership.
Oh, stop. Thank you to the 4 people who've stuck with us over these past 6 episodes.
Yes.
I've had a blast doing it.
It's been so fun. So much fun.
Let's go through what we did. The first one was about being a fake gamer.
Yes.
And then we had
Parents.
fake parents. And then we had fake artists.
Yep.
And then we had fake black, which didn't really like
Oh, yes.
your relationship to being black.
That's what it was.
And in my relationship to black, like being an ally.
Yeah.
And then
And then politically, we did,
Yes.
it was like election day. Or
yeah,
not
the election special, which was technically fake Christian.
That's right.
Amazing
They
discussion.
wove together. though.
Yeah,
They really
and sadly, maybe they need to be pulled apart. Who
did.
knows?
Maybe. I think probably.
And then
But-
cut off. No.
Yeah.
And then finally, since we've explored so much of each other and ourselves, fake friends.
Yes. Fake friend.
When I told you that was the 6th episode title, how did it make you feel?
It's interesting because I feel like over the course of my life, I have felt like a fake friend sometimes.
Also,
You know, surface level kind of stuff like, oh, how's it going? But not really deep,
Yes.
And I feel like in my adult life, I have become a much better friend. It's more intentional. It's more thoughtful. This sounds crazy, but I've started to do a Google Doc of like my different friends and what they're going through so that I can remember it. Well, there's a lot to like.
no,
There's a lot to remember, and I feel bad. I feel like I'm not being the best friend I can be when I have to ask a lot of questions, especially if someone's coming from a place of something difficult. It's like my friend, her mom was sick, and I couldn't remember what she was sick with. And I don't know if that matters so much because you could just empathize, but just details like, okay, this person's dating this person, and they have a dog named this, and this, and this, and that.
Oh, wow.
Because it helps to like have context. Like, I don't know, it helps to for people to feel like you're listening to them when you can sort of repeat back to them what they're saying to you.
am I on your Google document?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Except I didn't put your dog's name on there, and I don't think I have your cat's names.
Well, they're both dead, so it's fine. Spencer and Tessa were the ones that died.
Tessa, but you have 2 cats right now.
I have 3 cats.
You have 3 cats.
I'll take the sheet.
Okay. I don't remember.
Don't even. Okay. I don't even know if I can remember their names.
Do you know
But
their
you put
names?
yes, I know their
Okay.
names. But that is so much more work than maybe I'll be diminishing here. That's so much more work than you need to do.
I think
at
it
least in
is.
my version of friendship.
I know, it totally is. But I have felt bad, and this is a me problem. I have felt bad when I ask someone a question or I say something to them, they're talking to me about something, and I am like, I know I've asked them about this before. But I'm asking again and again and again. And it makes me feel like I'm disconnected from the friendship, even though that's not true. I'm busy as well and have things going on in my life, and I'm sure that this is just a really intense thing. I'm sure that there are not pretty much other people who do.
How many people are on the document?
Oh, it's not many. It's probably like 10 or 12. It's just like, and there's some family members on there too.
Yeah.
Who I know, but it's like, it's just like, you're at this job, like, I don't know, because.
And you're a note taker by
Yes.
thing.
Writer.
Yeah.
Having that sort of understanding. A lot of it I can remember, right? Like,
Yeah.
for my closer friends, for the people who I see more often, like, I remember your kids' names. I see them more than I see some of my other friends' kids.
Yeah.
But there are some, like, friends on the outskirts or people who, okay, well, they have maybe they have a partner who's dating somebody who has a kid. Okay, what's your name? Like, stuff like that. Just because, I don't know, I haven't kept up with it too much. Like, I started it, and I haven't gone back to make updates, which is the whole point was so that I could know, okay, if I have a phone call with, my friend the other, like in a week, then I'll be able to remember what's going on in her life.
Interesting. I have the newest iPhone because I'm bougie like that. And you can auto-transcribe and auto-note take your phone calls. And I'm wondering, like, if I was talking, it tells the other person you're doing it. But if you hit the button and be like, it puts it in a note, but what if you put the note in their contact? That's
amazing, because then you have their address, their name, it's all in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. I love how technology is working for that. But I would say, in answer to your first question, which was How did you feel about that being the title? It feels like a nice sort of rounding out. If we continue, we can come up with other titles. But if this is our last episode, it's kind of like a nice packaging because we're friends and you asked me to do this podcast because you're like, well, let's talk about stuff. And I'm like, I love talking. I like hanging out with you. So we just, we go places, we do things, and we talk about stuff. And I like it.
Well, you're missing part of that story because...
Oh, what am I missing?
You're missing that you were potentially exiting.
Yes.
And we were trying to find something to do.
That's right. I totally forgot
before
about that. I left the company.
Yeah, before we, if you left, I mean, it was a sabbatical or a break or whatever while you figured it out.
That's right.
So where the fake friends comes in a little bit, like, it would really be, if that were to have happened, I think that would have been the test. Were we real friends, or not that this time is not valuable?
Sure, but I see what you're saying.
Or is it something that transcends this workplace and these things we build?
Right. I think definitely because, I don't know that you necessarily wanted to do the Detroit Film Festival, but you kind of like put it out to the group and I was like, yes, let's do it. And then you're like, okay, cool. And so I think that I would have wanted to do anyway because those are just so fun. Like, I know a lot of it is sitting around and kind of like figuring stuff out, but I had more fun. Like the one that we most recently did about Clippy was my favorite one. And it's my favorite one that I've done. And I've done like, maybe 5 or so. But it was so much fun. And it was a really hot day. And I don't remember what month it was. It had to be like July. And it was so hot.
Yeah, it was.
And you were on that bridge in that costume. And we were just like, wow, it's hot.
We were locked out of one of our locations.
Yes.
And it's funny you bring that up because a lot of maybe it's because I'm a boy, maybe it's because I'm on the spectrum, but like where I feel connected to people is when we work on something together. Like hanging out I can do. I've gotten better at it in my old age. But like just sitting on the rocking chair watching the stars go by. No.
Yeah.
But like if we're building something together, that's what really solidifies like relationships to me.
Yes.
Whereas someone like Eric, he is more like a hobby thing. Like he will go snowboarding or shoot arrows or drink. Like it's like that's a separate activity that builds stuff, but it doesn't like build something.
Yes. There's an output and there's a sort of a creative melding of the minds and we learn more about each other in the moment. Like when you were cranking out that script, you were doing it so quickly, and I'm just sitting here poring over my one scene that you have me write, and I'm like, ooh, and then you're like, well, okay, let's see what you have, and like, but you were just like banging it out. And while it's true that we all get together and we revise and we add and we change, you were able to sort of let that first prototype just kind of like be what it is, and I have this tendency to put so much weight on it and like, it has to be perfect. And it's like, well, it's iterative and everything. So it's kind of like, I do like to see that process of friendship through a project like you're talking about, because I actually don't have very many friends that I do projects with. Yeah. Like most of it is hang out and drink, or, if they have kids, we're going to the park or we're doing a thing like that. Or like going to dinner, or, I try to do more walks with friends now because it's free and it gets you, it's like exercise and it's like a nice activity. But yeah, as I'm thinking about it, the only other project that I have right now is with my brother-in-law, and he challenged me to this writing project. Nice. And that's fun. So he's writing something and I'm writing something. But otherwise, this like the stuff that we do, the gaming community I think of as a sort of a project. Yes,
definitely.
And so that's like,
we've built it, we nourish it. It's kind of like we have a kid together.
Right.
Like, or we have a thing together that we're co-parenting.
That we co-parent.
And I definitely view you as a co-parent.
Yes, we're on all the same emails, but it's nice to have you able to catch stuff that I'm like, oh my God, I can't, or me able to catch stuff that you're like, I can't do that, right? And so we managed to like, But anyway, I know that we have...
And going back to that friendly thing, I think I have little restraint when I'm working on a project. I can throw my whole weight into it, and I think I'm not a better or faster writer than you. I think that I just have less guardrails so I can push.
That's it, yeah.
And then trust that we can refine after we get it done.
Yes.
Whereas I see, saying this, I see a little bit of that in you and just your persona and who you are out there. And I'm not saying you're like extra off-putting or anything like that. I'm saying that you don't have the guards up that a lot of people have, or there are different types of guards.
That's interesting, yeah.
So everybody loves Pasha. Everybody loves Pasha. When you're going on your should I stay or should I go, people came out of the woodwork to make sure you stayed.
That was really nice. Yeah.
So I think I used to be closer to that. And then I think maybe it'd be burned through friendships or just stuff that didn't work out, or I had to kind of protect myself so I don't get emotionally invested into everybody. If that makes sense?
It's hard to be you can't really be emotionally invested in everybody, you know? And that is a challenge. And so I think that kind of gets back to why I have this document. It's sort of like, the minimum viable product that I can sort of do is, if I can remember people's pets' names, if they're like in a process of getting a new job, or they're in a process of getting married, or things like that, so that I can remember. Because if my friend's dad died, I don't want to say, how's your dad? You know what I mean? So it's like, but in the moment, you're just sort of, you're blindly kind of going through. So for me, it's like, okay, I need to have a working knowledge of where these people are in my life. But that circle has tightened. Like, it's not as broad. It's definitely come in a little bit more, because you simply can't give everyone your best, because it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, for sure. So thinking about like friends through my history, like I haven't had a ton. And some of them have been surface levels, like there's the friends at school, but the friends that you go home to their house with, I never had a ton. Like I'd have one, maybe three at most. And that was the way up until maybe college, like mid-college. And then probably Eric was the first like real friend I had, like the one that would meet you halfway. Where even now I have a lot of them that won't meet me halfway. So I try not to classify them as friends, even though we've been through a lot together.
Yes.
Like I've stood up behind them at their weddings, but it's like they won't meet me halfway now.
Right.
So and to protect myself, so I'm not like,
exactly. Why'd you invest? And it's a challenging thing to think about. And so I had to learn, you don't have to stay friends with someone just because things change. Life changes people and things. And so for me, on that end of friendships, it's so funny to look at me now and think about who I am now. I was a very desperate kid. I was the kind of kid who would write a note and say, are we friends, circle yes or no, and like put it in their cubby, like that kind of thing. I was always trying to please them. I wanted to be in their good graces. I wanted to be like, if we think about Mean Girls, right? I was, what is her name, Katie? I don't even know. I was Lindsay Lohan's character. See, I don't know things. But I was Lindsay Lohan's character, and I wanted to be like, get in with the cool kids, right? And I had a really awkward middle school time. I had the glasses and the braces, and I was just like very awkward. So I had some pretty solid friends, but I think high school was when I got to really just, like, that was when I had contacts, my braces came off, and I was like, I was in theater, I was in choir, which were cool kid things to do at my school.
Interesting.
My school was so big that there were like 250 kids just in my grade. Okay. So because my school was so large, there were no like true popular kids, because it just were too many kids for that. So there were like popular factions, and like choir and theater was there, like those were, those were some of those popular factions. And then of course sports and things too, but like, so I had a good circle of friends, not too many that I'd go like do sleepovers with, probably like maybe 6 total, like that I was actively doing sleepovers.
That's a real good number. I mean, from someone who doesn't have a ton of context, that seems good.
It was,
I started being like treating friendships like with the right amount of respect once I started like working at Meyer. And again, maybe it's that project thing where we kind of work at a place, so we kind of have a shared thing that we work on together. And sometimes it goes outside that and sometimes it doesn't. But the more, I think, independence I got, the more like healthy I was with those relationships.
Yeah, I think college for me, well, I feel like I've started to develop more healthy boundaries. I started to develop those in college, I think. Less of the desperation of, will you be my friend, you know? And more of, this is who I am and you take it or leave it, right? And feeling confident in who I am, that will shine through, and the kind of people who I will be friends with, we will just meld, right? And I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, not backtrack, but
Sure.
I remember when the first time that I met you, when you were on a different team and I was on a different team, and it's just so funny because we had a few interactions, but not many, and to like think about, wow, I met you then, and now we're close friends now, and it's just like, that's so funny because you just.
I don't need you to reciprocate this. You're my best friend.
Oh, Charlie.
You don't need to reciprocate.
I don't have best friends. I don't have best
friends.
Fine. My friends are, I would say, like.
Who's at the top of your sheet?
Oh, it's in alphabetical order. Okay. No, it's sort of like, I have like tiers of friends.
Yeah.
You're in the top tier.
I'll take it.
I don't do
That's a
best
healthier way
friend
to
like
look at
title.
it, yeah.
But I have tiers of like, who would I go out on a limb for? Who
Yeah.
would I help? And like, oh, I need you to pick up my kids, or I need you to do. You're in that top tier.
Well, thank you.
And then there are tiers of like, oh, like maybe I'll send you a birthday card, maybe I won't, or people who are acquaintances.
Please don't send me a card.
Oh no, I mean,
Yeah, I get it.
But like, yes, that's what. Yeah.
And then I have a few great, amazing people in my life. So there's Eric, where we used to talk and commute every day together. And now I think we've almost graduated where we can have our own lives and then reconnect once a week or once a month.
He's great. I like him a lot. He is so funny.
So solid.
Lovely, yes. Yeah.
He's done so much for me in my life.
That's great.
And again, someone who is very opposite me and very alike me at the same time, which I think we share as well.
Agreed.
So
I think opposite. Yes, we're different but same. You know, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, different skill sets, but like same person underneath or something like that. Yeah.
And that's where we get into these questions.
Yeah, good transition.
The same person underneath.
Let's do it. All right, so I gave you a list of Proust questionnaire questions that are used by Vanity Fair when they interview celebrities, and sometimes people say you don't know who someone is until you hear these questions out of them.
Ooh,
so out of the 35, you picked a couple, and if you want to give your number and talk to me about it, and I'll give you my response.
Okay, I wanted to start with number 1.
Okay.
Because number 1 is, what is your idea of perfect happiness? And this is it. Writing books all day in my mountain cabin that overlooks the sea. Writing novels and short stories and guzzling mugs of tea and being cozy by a fire while my 3 dogs prance and play. Oh. My husband's not in there, but it doesn't mean that he's not there. He's there. It's just my idea of perfect happiness.
Yeah, it has to be for you.
Yes.
No, it's beautiful.
I can even see the cabin. Like, I can see it.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Mine is fully rested, not bloated. Like, that's feeling.
Yes. Yes.
Creating view. No, I'm creating something that actually has an active audience. So it doesn't have to be live, but the 48-hour film festival, this podcast, maybe something a little bit more something more fiction than this. Something that I'm actually like creating. And then I'm really talking about my current situation. Able to take naps whenever I want. And I only get to experience the good parts of parenting. So, and the good parts are amazing. All of it's amazing.
Oh, I'm sure.
And my wife is not in there either. I mean, I want us to be independent.
Yes, that's
and
important.
independently happy.
You have to be, because otherwise there are problems.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, why don't you pick one? Or,
beautiful. Well, I don't know your numbers.
That's
so
right, you don't know what my numbers are.
Go ahead, you're in charge.
Okay.
We can just go through them.
Sure. So, my greatest fear, that's number 2. And I wrote that I will finish my epic novel and it will be a complete bust and no one will like it or care and I will feel like a failed writer. That is definitely my greatest fear. It's like, I can say I'm a writer all day, but when you actually put your money where your mouth is and actually do the book, then what? Do I say I'm a writer still? Yes, but also I understand that everyone's first novel is like, their first draft, at least. The first draft is trash. That's like a fact. It has to be edited. It has to be, whatever. But not everyone's first novel is trash. So, or did J.K. Rowling write other things before Harry Potter that I don't know about? Maybe.
Yeah, it didn't get published or
exactly.
something.
So maybe those are her first things. Maybe Harry Potter's like her 10th thing.
Yeah, she was pretty broke when Harry Potter came out.
Yeah, she did. She was. So, what about you?
Yeah. So just to build on yours, that's something I've had to get over. I mean, I haven't made a great novel. I've made little stories, little things. I've been myself, which I think is creating too. And sometimes there's an audience and sometimes there isn't. And now that I don't push it out as much, there's lesser of one. And I've had to change my thing like that. I feel affirmed that I've created and I've gotten better.
That you are in yourself, that it doesn't take other people outside of you to give it the value. Yeah.
So I'm always looking for affirmation, but
Me too.
Yeah, it's self-propelled, but it's healthier than it used to be. Greatest fear is not being able to provide for myself or my family. I don't want to feel like a burden. And especially with a family around, my wife does a ton more than I do in the relationship, but if there's a problem, I need to fix it. And if I couldn't do that, if I, for some reason, couldn't walk or couldn't work, I would be a broken guy. So.
Oh, man. It's funny that they put that as number 2.
It's just,
what's your perfect happiness and then what's your greatest fear?
It's a roller coaster.
It is. So the next one I answered is number 7. What is your current state of mind? And I put having patience and kindness with myself and practicing gratitude with myself. I'm really trying to be patient. When I do or feel embarrassed, do something that makes me embarrassed or feel embarrassed, I am so hard on myself. And it's of course we are, right? But you have to there's this humanity. We're all humans. We all do things that are embarrassing and it's okay. And that's what I'm trying to just work through.
Yeah. Yeah. You deserve that grace. And I totally feel like that. My current state of mind is maybe not as deep as yours. Tired, always tired.
I'm also always tired.
Worried.
I don't have any children.
I probably was more tired before I had kids, just because I didn't take care of myself. Not that I'm taking care of myself now, but I didn't know what tired was, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt more tired. Worried about things I can't control and exhausted with what I should control. So mine's kind of a negative state of mind, but yeah.
Well, we go through seasons. It's not always. It's we can.
But even with that, I mean, I have a smile on my face, and I'm still excited to live.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, which living person do I most despise? That is number 11. I have no logical reason for this, but it's Matthew McConaughey. I hate him. Just
his whole thing just irritates you? Okay.
His accent, his self-righteous, I'm an expert, look at me vibe. He's just anything that he's in, movie, commercial, project.
Interesting.
I actually watched that movie, was it The Gentleman or the something? It was a...
Gentleman, The Gentleman, yeah.
I watched that, he's in it. And I was my eye was twitching the whole time. Every scene that he was in, I was get out, get out. But then you see that other guy, I can't remember his name right now, Scottish guy.
Charlie Hunnam?
No, the guy with the dark hair, Colin Farrell.
Oh, yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
Loved all that. Great stuff. And then
interesting.
all the Matthew McConaughey bits. I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club because he's in it. And
Interesting.
I heard that that's a great movie.
Yeah. No, I love that. I've had those weird vendettas. I can't think of one at the moment. Just someone I don't want you to exist because you irritate me. I get it.
Yes.
I was saying Mr. 45, Mr. Vladimir Putin, almost any billionaire. And it's really just that where you only live to serve your own wealth or your own esteem.
Yeah.
Like you talked about with your book, you want some external affirmation that you're a writer.
Yeah.
They need so much to keep them puffed up to this warped worldview that it's killing this country.
It is. I should have put a realistic answer.
No, I love
that.
that.
The first thing that came to mind was Matthew McConaughey. I
love it.
Because it always comes to you.
That's a perfect answer. In Interstellar, did you still feel the vibe?
Did I see Interstellar? I did not
Chris
see Interstellar.
Nolan? Really?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a lot of Matthew McConaughey.
I don't watch Matthew McConaughey movies.
All right, it's a lot of Matthew McConaughey.
All right, try really hard not to.
Okay.
Okay, when and where were you happiest? That's number 16. On my trip to Japan, the most magical and beautiful trip I have ever been on. The scenic beauty, oh my gosh, Mount Fuji-san, everything was splendid. You've got to go. I saw one of your answers was Japan or Seattle for where would you like to live, which I didn't answer. But you've got to go. I think you'll really love it.
We're going to make it happen. When and where were you happiest? Counseling at summer camp.
Nice.
So Lake Louise, northern Michigan, beautiful lake, all good vibes. And the parts of me that like, I feel good about all myself, but the parts of me that don't translate one-to-one to like value, that's like what is welcomed and enthusiastically appreciated, like the weird stuff.
Yes.
Because other weird kids saw that and felt like they were more
belonging.
Like,
it's important. Yeah.
Like you have this book that you've been writing forever, and eventually it's going to be released. Everything I released was immediately positive feedback, and everything they released, I gave them feedback on. So.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful time. And helping
I love that. So, I love that. I also want to add to that the gaming community. Everything about the gaming community is just, it's made my time here incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I consider my greatest achievement? I put getting my master's degree. I worked really hard on it. Working a full-time job and going to school is like agony. I can't imagine doing it with children, but you did that before or after?
I did that before children.
Okay, so you were able to get that done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah. In my master's, I just had a blast. Again, you're working on something, so I was more free and open to meeting new people. Barely any of those connections stuck around, but like I learned so much from the other people. The professors were iffy, but it was just such a fun ride, and someone else was paying for it, which was cool.
Ooh, nice. I did not.
Yeah.
No, I was a contractor at the time, so I couldn't do that.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Mine is creating a family.
Yes.
I mean, high school Charlie thought he was just going to live alone. And he just wanted to make $45,000 a year so he could have an apartment and not see go. And it's like the world view, like you've gotten to the top of the mountain and you see only what's out there, but you don't look back and see where you came from. So a loving family, 2 beautiful kids that like want to spend time with me. It's really special stuff.
They're great. They're so fun. They're
Really
so
special
smart.
stuff.
And I just love, they're great. They're fabulous. Okay, number 20. If you were to die and come back as a person or a thing, what would it be? I would really love to be a wild animal of some kind, something majestic and beautiful, but also dangerous, like a panther or a jaguar.
Ooh.
Like, I'm just imagining, like, running around and being, like, at the top of the food chain and just, stalking across like tree branches and like, I mean, that would be so cool. You just sleep in a tree for hours and no one bothers you.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
You don't have to do anything. And then you have cubs and you figure those out, and then maybe there's a predator that you have to like deal with, but like
a Lion King situation where you have to kill your brother.
Right. A Lion King situation, or something of the like. But it would be really cool.
I think of like the educational movie they show of like the cheetah taking down a deer like super fast. Yeah, I can see that being you. I would be 2 things. A person who didn't have to worry about status or money. I mean, we are top of the food chain.
Yeah, that's true.
And we sadly have to concern a large part of our brain and our time with just keeping the machine fed. And I'm not saying burn it all down, but I'm not saying burn it all down.
I know. But what would we do if we, like, can you imagine living in a world where we didn't have to do the things that we do now to keep it going? Or
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what idle time looks for society when they don't have that pressure on them.
Right.
I think it would be in a more positive slant because you'd have less to rebel against. If your health insurance wasn't getting denied, you wouldn't feel like you have to shoot the CEO.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's a good point.
The number 2 is a well-kept dog, so I'd be your dog.
Absolutely, yes. My dog is extremely well kept.
Yeah. Just always, all you gotta do is look cute. Just your resting face is beautiful, and just
what breed? What breed would
you? I'd probably be your dog. I don't want to be. I wouldn't mind being a big one. Yeah. Either that or like a golden retriever.
Oh yes.
I don't like long hair though. It's itchy.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be worried about it. I imagine what it's like to have fur all over. Like I can imagine it. It's like if you've ever been in a big furry costume, and if you just think about what that's like to have fur on your, like she'll get fur in her eye, and I'm just like, oh God.
You gotta cut the dog's eyebrows, and it's like a game of operation.
Yes, a whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Where would I like to most live? Oh, I did answer this one. Okay. Number 21. In the mountains somewhere. I love the idea of being able to look out my window and have the scenic view of the sea and the mountains and the trees and just like a gorgeous, beautiful thing. And maybe that's like Japan. I think your answers were like feel very similar. But like, I don't know, Northern California maybe. I don't know. Somewhere where I can get ocean and mountain and and also weather. Like I also do want to have a cozy time.
I want seasons.
Yeah, seasons are nice. I mean, just not as much snow, but
I don't need a ton of land. I mean, I'd like a little bit more than they have now, but not much.
Because you have to keep it up.
Yeah.
No, I don't want.
Japan or Seattle, it feels like I've spent some time in Seattle for work, and just that cool mist coming in and driving, and then be like, oh, there's the ocean. And you think about your insignificant place in the world. Just really, really cool. I don't know if Seattle today is like that, but the Seattle of 15 years ago, it felt really cool.
Yes.
So and then the third answer would be Northern Michigan.
Okay. You know, the snow is like...
If I didn't have to go out and like go in the snow every day.
Yeah.
Like if I work from home or whatever.
Or Alaska, honestly, if the snow wasn't like... I mean, the snow, I went into Alaska in February and it was incredible. Not this February.
Oh, okay.
This year I went to Japan, but like in 2021, actually during COVID, I went to Alaska, and it was really incredible. It was breathtaking. And I don't know, if we had mountains in Michigan, I would feel like maybe a bit differently, but everywhere I've gone where there are mountains, I meet someone who's from Michigan, and they're like, yeah, I moved here because it's Michigan, but with mountains. And I'm like,
Would you ever move back to the east side of the state?
I don't think so. I really like being close to the lake. I mean, I call it the ocean because... I really like being close to the third coast. And then people aren't as friendly over there. There's a lot more to do. There's a lot more places to go, but it's just like...
I agree.
People are icky.
Driving is just unfun.
Oh my God.
I mean, I want the world to be a melting. I only lived there for like a year and a half.
Yeah,
and I lived in Royal Oak. It's not like I'm on 8 Mile or something.
Oh, you lived in a really good part.
Yeah, but yeah, just there's a different vibe, and it wasn't for me.
Everyone is just like, I'm important. I'm going somewhere fast, and they're weaving, and it's just like, and people aren't nice. I feel like people just aren't nice. So.
No, good. Was that the end of your questions?
I have one more.
Yes.
This one makes me shake my fist into the sky. Number 33, what is your greatest regret? My greatest regret is like, I think about this maybe once a week. My greatest regret is when I was in 8th grade or 7th grade, I was having a sleepover at my house, and I was under the impression that, because I was in middle school, I was under the impression that my friends they would laugh at me if I had toys. So I got rid of all my toys. All of them. I still have my American Girl doll, but I got rid of all of my Barbies, my doll house, my Polly Pockets, everything. And my dad let it happen. When I told him I wanted to get rid of my toys, he was like, absolutely. Because he was control freak, and he wanted things to be a certain way. And he was too happy to get rid of my toys. So I have my American Girl dolls. I do have all my books. I did give away some because I had like way too many, but I have all my journals and all, like, which is good. My diaries and all of my like Nancy Drew books and like all those things. But I don't have a single, like besides American Girl, I don't have a single toy. I wish I had my Polly Pockets and my Barbies, but Don't let your
I'm
kids
sorry.
throw away
Oh my
their
gosh,
toys.
that's heartfelt.
I know.
Yeah.
Like their favorite toys, like the ones they really like. Because obviously they're little right now, so they're probably going through, they probably have a ton of toys.
Yeah.
But like when they get to a point where they have like some really core toys,
Yeah.
oh, don't let them get rid of them. Even if they think, like just, I don't know why I couldn't have just hid to them, like just hid them
Put
somewhere.
them in a box or something. Yeah.
They were already in a box, but like put them like in like a, and then the kicker, a few months later, I went to a sleepover with one of those girls, and she had all her toys. And I was like,
Make fun of her.
breaking my head on the wall.
You baby.
I know. It's like 8th grade. Middle school is like...
It is rough.
It's bad.
It is rough. Mine are not committing to what I want to do enough because I was afraid of being rejected. Letting people tell me no, or even not even waiting for a no. Sometimes I'd just be like, they're not like excited to have me there, so I'd not be participating. So I never did theater or anything in school because just no one guided me. No one like really like, oh, have you considered, you're the funniest kid in the school. Have you considered doing this?
Oh, you would have been a great
you're amazing
theater kid.
So it's tough, and I don't miss like being on the stage because I get a little bit of that in my various things I do, but I miss like the group of people I could have been in and felt not so alone. So that's it. And like a million like girls that I didn't honestly go after when I should have. But I'm happy. I'm married.
Yeah,
It's all good.
regrets are hard. It's hard to like have them. I try not to have too many of them, and like stand by my choices. At least as an adult, it's a lot easier to not have regrets now.
I don't think about that stuff nearly as much as I thought I would. Like, I feel like my first 2 years of college were regretting high school, and then and then like maybe after like I got hired in here, it was like, that part is prologue. This is what we're doing now.
Yeah, right. It's like you have. Oh, I have a second regret.
Give it to me.
It's very
this podcast.
It's very stupid.
Yeah.
No. My second regret is my first year working here. My mom's sister's, my aunt's boyfriend was loaded. He paid for an all expenses paid trip to Disney World for my cousin, for his girlfriend, my aunt, daughter, my cousin, for her 30th birthday to Disney World. The flights were paid for. He got a villa with rooms. He paid for everyone to, no, I think the flights you had to pay for your own, but he paid for the villa and park passes. And they were there for like 5 days.
Oh, and you didn't go because
And I didn't go because I was like, well, it's my new job. It was in 2017. I was like, it's my new job, and I don't think I should ask to go because I'm
Sherry Williamson needs me.
I know.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm not going to believe it.
No. But like, I just thought I wouldn't, like I thought I'd be penalized.
Yeah.
Because it was my first, I worked at Fox 17 News before that, but this was like the first job, you know?
Yeah.
And corporate especially. And I think about those two things, the toys and the Disney trip. I think about those constantly. Because Disney is so my jam.
Yeah.
And free.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I mean, he was wealthy.
Good for him.
Yeah, I know.
I have one more because you mentioned that because so I was supposed to be an extra in Batman v Superman in the scene where they shot a lot of that movie in Michigan.
Yes.
It was at MSU, and it's where Clark Kent meets Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Where they shake hands and like, oh, a grip. I was supposed to be in the background of that. And they brought in Monterey, had a meeting with me, so I had to cancel last minute. I mean, I probably wouldn't have been on screen, but like.
But you would have been there. You would have.
Yeah.
That's
seen that
so cool.
I could have been in the worst superhero movie. But
no, the worst superhero movie is Green Lantern. Thank you.
All right, I'll take it. All right, so thank you for sharing your heart with us. I do feel like I know you better now.
Yeah, same. It was good.
So I am happy we got this done. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future, but this is it for a bit. We might do something about the game Life is Strange.
Yes, I think we should.
Okay.
That would be fun because it's, I was halfway thinking I should do some voice recording while I'm playing it or something, or get some audio. But...
Oh yeah, we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Thank you for sticking with us. How'd you make it through? Pasha, you're my best friend, as I mentioned.
Yes,
and I love
top
you.
tier.
Top tier. I love you. Thank you for going on this journey with me.
Love you too. Let's hug on camera. Yay!